The Modern Warfare 3 Esports World Cup is just over 2 weeks away. We got the official group, so I'm going to give you all my predictions. If you didn't see the groups, here they are on screen. They were officially announced from the Esports World Cup, so no more rumors or anything like that. This is officially what we're going to see. All the groups, honestly, have probably their top teams, but I do think we're probably going to see an upset. For those that don't know, the way it's going to work is we have 4 groups, of course, Group A through D. The top 2 of each group is going to advance. And then another cool thing before we get into the predictions is some of these teams are going under their official org branding, right? So we see OPTIC Gaming, we see 100 Thieves, we see Team Heretics, we see G2 Esports, Cloud9. Pretty cool to see some of these brands competing in COD once again, right? Obviously, not every team here is under their CDL branding. But let's talk about this bracket, right? So as you can see on screen, once you get past group play, the top 2 teams are going to move on. It is a single elim bracket, which is a little bit disappointing, but understandably so. If they did double elim for all these events, it would take months for them to do the Esports World Cup. But right here on screen is exactly how it'll play out. So it's the number 1 team from Group A is going to play the number 2 team from Group B, so on and so forth. So based on this bracket, let's switch on over here and I'll edit in the teams that I think are going to make it. So coming out of Group A, I think OPTIC Gaming should top this group, right? They just won COD champs. They definitely should come away with this. Then the second place spot definitely gets interesting, right? Vegas and Ravens, both CDL teams that have been good. Then you have Omit Brooklyn, a team that got second place at Challengers Champs, but of course had most of their team poached by Boston Breach, so a full new roster. For me, I'm going Carolina Royal Ravens as my second team from this group. They've been scrimming the Vegas Legion a bunch recently and have been playing them pretty well. And for Group B, I think Cloud9, aka the New York Subliners, are going to come out on top. And then I do think the Seattle Surge will get that second spot. G2, also known as Minnesota Rocker, for those that don't know, did make a couple roster changes. I think they could be competitive. And then Gentlemates is the Team War team with Bance & Co. From Group C, I think Toronto Ultra should, of course, top this group. But this is the group I think we see a major upset. And I do think the Stallions take that second spot, taking down Heretics and Boston Breach. I really do think we got to see at least one upset, right? Like, what are the odds we don't see a single upset from a Challengers team going into bracket play? And I think this is the group it happens. Then Group D, another one that I think is probably relatively straightforward. I think Atlanta FaZe take the 1 seed and 100T take the 2 seed. Team Falcons is arguably the worst team at this event, of course qualifying through EMEA. And then Lure Gaming is the team that won Challengers Champs. But I do think with the way 100T are playing and obviously FaZe being so good that those 2 will come out on top. So as you can see now, here is my bracket. So on the top side of the bracket, if you see me looking down, it's because I have it written down on this notepad. I'm just going to edit it on post for you guys. But we got OPTIC versus Seattle Surge in that first matchup. And I do think that OPTIC are going to get it done. And in our second matchup, we got a battle of the FaZe teams. So we got Atlanta FaZe versus FC Black, aka the Stallions, as they couldn't go under the FaZe branding to this event. And this one should be pretty interesting, but I do think Atlanta FaZe are going to get it done. Then we come into Toronto versus 100 Thieves, a battle we saw twice at COD Champs. 100T winning the first time, Toronto win the second time. And I'm 100% going to give my fan bias in here. I'm taking 100T over Toronto Ultra to move on to the next round. I'm also just trying to have some fun with this bracket because I definitely do think there could be some upset potential. Then in our last matchup of the first round of bracket play, we got C9 versus Carolina Royal Ravens. Another matchup we've seen a bunch this season. And I do think C9, aka the Subliners, get it done. Then we go into our next round where we got OPTIC versus Atlanta FaZe. I mean, this is an absolute banger. And I do think FaZe are going to take this one. I think OPTIC might be letting off the gas a little bit, rightfully so. They won champs. They probably don't really care about this. They're all just vibing, having fun on stream, playing GTA, playing Valorant. And I think FaZe come out with a little bit of energy and try to get this done. And then 100T versus C9. I'm going to give it to C9, man. I do think that Cloud9 New York are a really good team. And I do think, they've peaked at the end of this season. I feel like they still have a lot to prove given that they got second place at champs. And then we go into the grand finals. My grand finals is Atlanta FaZe versus Cloud9. And I think Cloud9 wins the Esports World Cup for Modern Warfare 3. I think once again, Atlanta FaZe goes out with a second place. I think this team mentally might be a little bit chalked. I think they're good enough to get themselves to second. But I do think C9 turns up at the Esports World Cup to kind of get some redemption after what happened at champs. And that is my predictions for the Esports World Cup. It definitely, I hope it's a bit more interesting. I hope we see some more upsets. I hope we kind of see something crazy happen. I would absolutely love to see a Challengers team make bracket play, or more than one Challengers team make a bracket play. But this is my bracket, man. Let me know what you think. Like I said, this is kind of just for fun. It's kind of hard to predict this, right? Because who knows what some of these teams are going to look like when they get here in a few weeks. But the Esports World Cup group stage does start in 15 days, 19 hours, almost 20 hours since when I'm recording this. So as you can see, it is on August 15th at 7 a.m. Central Time is when the first match starts. I should be watch partying this. I'm not sure if I can watch party. I applied for co-streaming. I didn't hear anything back. I don't know if co-streaming and watch partying are differently. So if anyone has any insight on that, let me know. I absolutely want to watch party this on YouTube and Twitch. So hopefully I'll see some of you guys in the watch party in a couple weeks. Make sure to sub. We're on the road to 5K subs. More CDL and COD content coming very soon. I appreciate the support, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one.